All right, guys, we're going to start by talking about children. Specifically, protecting children. And kids need our protection at all times, more so today. Item from Breitbart. A parent in Austin, Texas said she's offended by the proposed sex ed curriculum in her school district that normalizes LGBT sexual relations and invites greater risks to children. I oppose the approval of the sex ed program because in that curriculum, sixth graders will be engaging in written scenarios to propose solutions to homophobia. Carol Ayala, co-founder of the local group Concerned Parents of Texas, said at a school board meeting Monday night. This will create a climate that pits students against one another and violates the students' rights to hold a different opinion regarding boundaries of sexual behavior according to their family's values, she said. Adding the curriculum would violate the cultural values of many Hispanic families, such as her own. Quote, I'm offended that the school district is grooming 46,000 Hispanic children to accept these behaviors, Ayala continued. I consider this a direct assault on Hispanic family culture, unquote. Folks, all over the country, parents are having bizarre programming shoved down their kids' throats, and they resent it, and I don't blame them. Something of this nature should always be offered as an addendum to a school program, if you're going to offer it at all. But insisting the kids sit in on this garbage is destructive in the extreme. Now, here's a related item from the Christian Broadcast Network, Dateline, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Drag Queen Story Hour is advertised as an event that captures the imagination and play of childhood and gives kids glamorous, positive, and diverse role models. Last summer, the Boston Public Library allowed drag queens to dress as Catholic nuns, called them the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, and had them read to kids. Princeton professor Robert P. George told CBN News that it's dangerous to use the state to promote ideas that defy normal ideas about gender. Quote, it's a message about power, George explained. The group in question, the so-called Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, is sending a message that they have the power to enter into the public domain, a publicly funded institution, I believe not a private one, and to essentially hold a catechism class for this new religion that they've created, a religion of hedonism, of self-indulgence. Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence say a religion of licentiousness. At another reading event, a man dressed in drag encouraged the young child to become a drag queen. I want to be a superhero, a little girl says in a video from the event. The drag queen responded, quote, you can be a drag queen superhero, unquote. Well, my friends, if you've been listening to the Real Truth Radio Show for any amount of time, you will know that I am not a liberal. Far from it. I believe in classic American, classic Judeo-Christian values. And those values tell me that people who are drag queens, A, need to get themselves to a psychiatrist and pronto, and B, should be nowhere around innocent, impressionable children. Now, we know that educators are almost all liberal, and we know that libraries all across the country, composed of people who probably couldn't make it as educators, are also liberal, and they're scheduling these drag queen story hours all the time. There's one about 5 minutes from my home that's doing it now. We have no more valuable commodity than our children. Nothing and no one is more valuable than them. And to expose them to the whims of bizarre behavior in our country, no matter what the PC culture says, is wantonly dangerous. My kids are growing up. But if they were small, you bet your backside I would not let them anywhere near a drag queen story hour, and I wouldn't have them sitting in on a class explaining the virtues of LGBTQ It's just not the way I want to raise my kids. I don't think it's the way any normal parent wants to raise his kid. Now, I talked to you last week about Hollywood starlet. I don't even remember her name. She's a minor star. And she's got a son who on occasion wears a dress, and she's fine with that. Well, there's a question of child abuse. I don't think we're down far enough along the road to actually act on that as child abuse, but I think in the future we will. Children as young as her son, if I'm remembering, I think the kid was 6 or 7, they haven't even formed a sexuality yet. And the first thing parents are doing, some parents, not too bright parents, are doing, is muddying the waters, confusing them about sexuality when kids that age shouldn't be dealing with sexuality in any way, shape, or form. So what society is trying to do, at least one segment of society, is take their notions of sexuality and inculcate them into their kids. Well, it's child abuse. Kids don't need to learn about sexuality. Eventually, it will show up on its own at the proper time, and it'll be done in a healthy way. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I've been doing the show over 11 years. If nothing else, and I talk about a wide range of topics, if nothing else, I am on the air to protect children. Anytime I read about a drag queen story hour, it's like fingernails on a blackboard. It makes me sick to my stomach. Why aren't the parents more sick to their stomachs? Why aren't they storming the offices of school administrators and head librarians and saying, cut the crap? If I want to expose my kids to this, I will take them to the next gay pride parade. Parents aren't doing that because they're apathetic, which tells you a lot about parents in America in the 21st century. Parents, if this is happening in your community, and I would wager that it is, I want you to get active. I want you to get angry. I want you to see to it that your kids are never exposed to this kind of garbage. Because if they do, before you know it, they will not be the kids you've been raising. They will be someone else. Their values would have been molded and crafted not by you and your family, but by some bizarre left-wing idea that everything is okay, nothing is abnormal, do whatever feels good. Well, that kind of mindset is diametrically opposed to the Judeo-Christian civilization. And it's a perfect recipe for the dissolution of any society, which we see happening now. So protect your kids, protect society, protect yourselves. Take an active hand in what your kids do and don't see. It's Thursday. It's Real Truth, and I will be right back.